President Trump's chief spokesman is condemning the arrest of hundreds of peaceful protesters in Russia over the weekend and calling for the release of those still in custody. Senior foreign affairs correspondent Amy Kellogg tells us what all the trouble was about.
This was the first time in a long time Russians have taken to the streets. Tens of thousands came out in about 90 towns and cities across the country.
I believe people should express their public spirit and show that they aren't slaves.
The protest was aimed not directly against President Vladimir Putin, but his Prime Minister, Dmitry Medvedev, accused of having a vast array of property, vineyards, yachts and villas, acquired dishonestly. These were demonstrations against corruption, and Putin ended up getting shouted down too. Organizer and opposition leader Alexei Navalny was arrested. He was fined and given 2 weeks in jail for resisting arrest and for leading an unauthorized protest. In Moscow, at least 8,000 showed up. Police arrested more than 1,000. Most were released. The European Union called on Russia to release the rest. The U.S. State Department said, quote, detaining peaceful protesters is an affront to democratic values. The Kremlin called the unauthorized protests a provocation and accused Navalny of paying young people to turn out.
The Kremlin respects people's civic stance and their right to voice their position. We can't express the same respect to those who consciously misled people and who consciously did it yesterday and provoked illegal actions.
The last time Russia saw big street protests was back in 2011-2012, after voter fraud in parliamentary elections and Putin's decision to run again for president. The Russian president blamed then Secretary of State Hillary Clinton for encouraging those protests, and many say he never got over his displeasure. Those protests were much bigger in scope than yesterday's, and it's not clear to what extent Sunday's marchers are reflective of the greater Russian population. Of course, Putin's popularity remains very high, but yesterday did prove that significant numbers of people are prepared to take to the streets to voice their anger and desire for some change. Shannon.
Amy Kellogg, thank you very much.